If there's one company that deserved to be sued for causing more childhood trauma than adulthood ever could, that company is Fazbear Entertainment. Seriously, these guys are like the worst entertainment company ever, almost worse than Ubisoft, EA, and Nintendo. Almost. But after all, what was the exact sequence of pizzerias where everything went wrong again and again? And how did no one ever shut down this abomination of a franchise before? In the glorious 70s, a decade where the rest of the planet was inventing disco music and sipping milkshakes with French fries, Henry, Emily, and William Afton wanted a themed restaurant with big robots singing to kids. What could possibly go wrong? That's how Fredbear's Family Diner was born, the root of nightmares yet to come. It was small, with only two main animatronics, the characters Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, costumes that restaurant employees had to wear. And check this out, they were spring-lock suits. Extremely dangerous, because, you know, safety is for losers. This is the 70s after all. They hadn't invented horrific workplace accidents yet, and even though the narrative never makes it clear why the place shut down, everyone knows Afton's bony hand was involved. They say that, after the tragic murder of poor Charlotte, Henry's daughter, and the infinitely traumatic consequences for him, the restaurant just fell apart. The place simply went bankrupt. Charlotte, by the way, was also the first to return in the form of an animatronic, the puppet. Yes, that one, the dead girl who would go on to help the future dead children possess the next animatronics. But there's even more hidden stuff about this restaurant, and we're going to tell you now. You can already smell the profitable franchise forming, can't you? So get your jaws ready and take a bite out of that subscribe button, because today we're taking a trip through the FNAF timeline to learn what happened in each of the franchise's establishments, right here on Zigzag. As I said, William Afton would also get a taste of the same sludge cake he baked for his partner. After murdering his partner's daughter, he himself had one of his sons killed in the same restaurant. We're talking about the damn bite of '83, when the little boy known as the Crying Child, who, guess what, was Afton's youngest, had his head crushed by Fredbear's teeth. All because of what? Because his older brother thought it would be funny to put him inside the robot's mouth. Spoiler, it wasn't. And you thought your brother was a jerk. Have you already thanked the universe for not being born in Afton today? That moment didn't just traumatize everyone involved, including the entire gaming community. It's also one of the bloodiest events in the franchise. And the weirdest part? The company didn't shut down after that. They kept going strong, as if a child hadn't been bitten to death live, in front of everyone, inside a children's restaurant. Fazbear Entertainment, redefining the concept of corporate cover-up since the 70s. Now, don't get it twisted. The restaurant shut down, but Fazbear Entertainment is still alive and kicking to this day. And starting with the next one is when things really begin to get worse. And there it is. Fazbear Entertainment took a step further into corporate insanity and opened the legendary Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, that magical place where children's dreams literally turn into nightmares. In the late 70s, early 80s, the place had it all. Questionably sourced pizza, animatronics with killer eyes, and a serial killer with a badge, William Afton, at the front desk with a purple smile on his face. It was in this children's paradise that the famous MCI, Missing Children Incident, took place, where 5 kids mysteriously vanished, and no one thought to check the giant robots full of suspicious fluids. Of course, nothing came of it. The police only figured out the kids were possessing the animatronics when the robots started bleeding from the eyes and smelling like corpses. But look, Fazbear Entertainment didn't shut down immediately, because apparently, vengeful spirits haunting robots isn't grounds for termination in their contract. And get this, Afton was so clever, he was dismissed from the investigation due to lack of evidence against him. How is that even possible? Subscribe to the channel now, before an animatronic comes for you in the middle of the night. We're warning you. Around here, the watch never ends. But if you thought that was rock bottom, brace yourself for the next phase. Rock bottom can always go deeper. And the name of that place is Sister Location, a secret underground facility run by Afton Robotics, where the motto seemed to be, "Let's torture children's souls for science." This was where a "bring your daughter to work" day turned into hell. Because Afton's daughter Elizabeth was killed by Circus Baby. And the worst part is, Afton saw this as an absolute victory because Baby was possessed by his daughter's spirit immediately. In other words, His experiments were a success. Sometime later, to top it all off, Mike goes to work there and gets tricked by the animatronics, and here comes another plot twist. This time, they possess a human. Mike becomes yet another victim of his own father, but survives in the form of a vengeful zombie. After the small failure involving missing children and possessed animatronics, Fazbear Entertainment, stubborn as ever, decided to open a new version of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, now more modern, with the super colorful toy animatronics and facial recognition. Because nothing says child safety like giving a second chance to robots that technically were already involved in murder. And since recycling is important, the old animatronics were reused too, only they were dumped in a dark, creepy storage room, like a permanent Halloween decoration. Can you imagine looking for the bathroom and running into one of those? You wouldn't even need the bathroom anymore. But what really put the cherry on top of this Sunday of tragedies was the infamous Bite of 87, the animatronic Mangle, all torn apart, and with a gaze that screams security, decided to bite a security guard's frontal lobe. Literally. The bite became a scandal, which led to the restaurant being quickly shut down once again. Congratulations to Fazbear Entertainment for yet another record, in shortest time open, before complete chaos. We've arrived at the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza from the timeline of the first game, the most iconic location in the franchise, and of course, the most infamous. This is the same one from the original 70s version, but now all decrepit and haunted by animatronics who attack the night guard thinking he's Afton. The second layer of irony here is Mike Schmidt is Afton, but not the Afton the kids wanted. Here we had one of the biggest plot twists of the series. No, it wasn't the spoiled pizza. It was the moment when William Afton, already deranged and trying to cover his tracks, decided to destroy one by one the animatronics he had helped create. But the universe loves irony, so the vengeful spirits of the children didn't let it slide. Afton ends up cornered in the old restaurant and, in a desperate attempt to protect himself, gets inside the Spring Bonnie suit. But because of faulty springs and accumulated karma, the springs activate on their own and crush him from the inside. Congratulations, William! You became a ghostly pancake inside the costume you created yourself. Fazbear Entertainment, once again, shuts down in style, blood, trauma, and a new secret corpse in the walls. And now, the older brother of the crying child seeking redemption, in the form of the creepy zombie guy. How many nights would you survive as the night guard in this dump? Comment #FNAF with your answer. In Five Nights at Freddy's 3, Fazbear Entertainment decided to take shamelessness to the next level and created Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction. Can you believe the audacity of these sons of a... So yeah, even after years of murders, disappearances, and possessive ghosts, the company decided to capitalize on its own tragedies. Dude, it's literally unbelievable. They took pieces from the old restaurants, broken animatronics, and chilling stories to build a theme park out of collective trauma. Would you go to this attraction? Or are you a normal person with functioning common sense? But of course, this horror circus had to end like every Fazbear venture, in flames. And this time, the one responsible was Mike Afton, trying to finally end his father's soul, now trapped in the animatronic Springtrap. Spoiler, it didn't work. The building turned to ashes, but the vengeful spirit of William Afton remained alive and well, like that cockroach that won't die even with a nuke going off in its face. And once again, Fazbear Entertainment crossed another flaming failure off the list. And it's at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza place that Afton meets his downfall, and the children find their salvation. This time, the restaurant was created by Henry Emily, Afton's former partner. He uses the restaurant to lure everyone in and burn them all, including himself. And that's how Afton and the children met their end, apparently, because the story still continues. And now we have the mysterious figure of the Mimic being revealed in the next game. Could it be a new version of Afton, or a totally secret new villain?